All right, we're now live. We're going to give it a few seconds, but I'm speaking with Fab from Legion, and this is probably something you want to listen to. Just give it a few seconds. You can ask all your questions, and then Fab will chat about this. But I guess, what are we at? 20 seconds now. I think we can dive in. So Fab, just quickly before we even intro who you are, what is Legion.cc?
Fantastic question. And Seb, thank you for having me. Very much looking forward to this and happy to cover everything. But yeah, Legion.cc or just Legion, essentially we are, in the complex version, a capital formation platform that connects value-add network participants with projects. In a simpler version, if you have drive, determination, if you add value, Legion is your chance to make it by getting access to both early stage deals as well as high quality token launches.
Awesome. This is something that's only just come on my radar, but be good if you could I'll quickly share my screen, show everyone on Twitter and the website, and then maybe just let us know when Legion the idea was formed, who you are, and who's in the team. And then I'll be really keen to find out what the product market fit is and how you where you see the product market fit. But I've just asked like 5 different questions. So firstly, who
I
are
can
you?
screen share, by the way. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you should. If you've got it up, please present your screen and let's bring it up.
All right, wicked. Well, we kick her off at the landing page first.
All right.
So yeah, I guess answering who am I? So my name, Fabrizio or Fab, either one is totally fine. One of the 2 co-founders of Legion. I guess my background, semi-fellow Australian, was originally actually in computer science and geology. Crazy combination. Top of my class for economic geology. Thought like definitely want to do exploration geology. Did it for a little bit. Realized actually pretty average career choice, and then flipped back to the comp side of things. Post that, did a lot of more corporate stuff. What a way to get the soul sucked out of you. Only lasted for a few years, and then moved more into freelance for a bit, and then startups. Worked startups for a while, and then basically one of the startups I was working at, health tech startup, got acquired, and then that kind of gave me a bit of freedom to go kind of full time in something I've been super passionate about for a long time, which was crypto, DeFi. Had some crazy good times, good memories, and then around that time, or I guess earlier to that time, I was pretty involved in, if you can remember, an ecosystem called Terra Luna, which experienced quite the boom and even quicker bust. But during that time, I got to know the guys from Delphi Labs, Delphi Ventures, and then we are kind of always chatting about this idea of capital formation, the current meta, why it's broken, and why things need to be done differently. And then about a year and a half ago, we kind of said, okay, this kind of feels like the right time. I've previously found DeFi protocols before. I've raised money. I've been an investor. I've been a network participant. And then, we just realized like, okay, there's new regulation coming to light in Europe. It's called MiCA, Market and Crypto Assets Regulation. It should be due by the end of 2024. So we have kind of a thesis on how you can distribute your token in a more effective way through token sale mechanisms. So we came together and said, let's give this thing a run. So essentially we have a joint venture with Delphi. So incubated at Delphi, joint venture through Delphi, etc. And then, yeah, my co-founder and I met there. His name goes by Matty Tokenomics, very famous for writing a book called Tokenomics for Builders. Was a tokenomics lead at Stacks Ecosystem Status. Previously, it was at Bridgewater Associates and the Algo Trading Desk. Super smart guy, a killer co-founder to have on the team. And then, yeah, we've got basically a team of another 5 full-time devs, and then a few people helping out bits and pieces on the community side. Of course, we have an intern and growing from there. And we're currently here in Lisbon at our hacker house because we went live last week and things have been pretty manic.
Awesome. Well, I haven't even signed up in any way, which is good because maybe I should sign up live, or maybe you can show us a platform live just for a few minutes, and then I'd be keen to find out exactly where the product market fit is, because I can see it, but I'd love to hear from the founder's point of view.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we can cover the product first. So maybe actually let's talk product market fit first. And I guess it's kind of annoying to have the visual video going on when I'm talking, so maybe I'll just leave her here for now. But yeah, I think like just to set the scene, right? Let's rewind. ICO days, 2017, right? Now don't get me wrong, it was wrought with scams, a lot of opportunistic people taking advantage, shipping vaporware. But there was something really pure about that time in the sense that, it was the way to like give the middle finger to, the Silicon Valley bros, that, the tech bros raising money, you have to be in a particular club, etc. And this is sort of a way to democratize access to early stage investing, right? Which at the time was unheard of. So basically, ICO wave came. People realized like, okay, tokenization is super effective for coordinating real world behavior at scale. Like that's a killer use case of tokenization. And what ICOs did really well was distribute your token or the token to many people to coordinate that activity, right? And some of the success stories that came out of ICOs was this bootstrapping of early stage community, right? If you rewind back, everyone getting in the same level, ideally building, creating some value. That's where you have things like the Link Marines come from. You have the Thor Jets come from. You have like SNS, like the Spartans from Synthetics. And then you also have like kind of semi-famous, like Degen Spartans from those days, or like Thor Chad Bull, or like Chainlink God, who then went on to get hired by Chainlink. But like these like community members coming up and stepping up, and these are projects that last not just one like blip, but they continue to last over more than just one cycle. Now, there was obviously, if you can remember, the famous DAO hack, which kind of drew a lot of attention. SEC then formally investigated 21A report, which was essentially like assessing, is this thing, would it pass the Howey test, would it be considered a security? And then basically that kind of like marked the death of the ICO era, which was kind of popping off at the time, people raising billions of dollars on basically nothing. That then created this situation where it's like no longer compliant to raise from retail. So projects said, okay, like let's just go to venture capital. We know it's compliant, and that kind of kicked off like basically setting the scene for the current meta we're in right now. So essentially, we got back to like what we were trying to get away from in the first place, where you have these like well-capitalized projects just raising multiple private rounds from venture capitalists, like only accredited venture capitalists have a particular network, and that kind of reduces the organic price discovery, kind of cancels it out. So then you have these projects basically raising on wild valuations before they even have products, before they even have community, before they even have anything. On the venture capital side, it's good because they have lots of paper gains. They can go out and raise another fund off the paper gains. And that cycle kind of continued. Obviously, we had DeFi summer kickoff 2021, kind of like a crazy bull, and it was kind of successful then. But I think people kind of realized like this is very overvalued. And then that kind of arrived earlier to this year, where people realized like there are these billion-dollar new tokens coming to market, and by the time retail gets access to it, it's at already like 10 billion valuation. And you have the earliest investors are already up 100x, and as soon as like they follow this process is like multiple private rounds, then they might do a small airdrop for distribution. They'll run a points campaign to like demonstrate adoption. They'll have a day one sex listing, and they'll coordinate it with a market maker who typically has zero trading fees, and that kind of pumps volume, makes the project look like everything's good. They can control price, and then continuous vesting literally leads to most of the tokens that launched in 2024 that are high profile, even 2023, which all to the right and down, right? And I think like from the other side is like the people, the retail, the dumb money, right? You get sick of it, right? Because you're just being treated as exit liquidity rather than like actually having ownership in a product and something you're trying to achieve. So I can see in the back right-hand corner, you've got Murad there on the wall. We chatted to him last week. I think directionally we're very aligned with what we're trying to achieve. He sort of describes meme coins as like, it's the counterattack from the trenches that retail can like fight back against the VC vaporware. And I think like the premise of it is you come back to it. It's like, if you can have a community that has upside in an asset, so they can get in early and there's still some upside to be gained. If there's some sort of like value attribution, which means people coming together feel like their contributions make the project more successful, and there's something to directionally align themselves around, whether it be a person, a tech, or like a system, that's where you start bootstrapping these cult-like communities, where Murray describes this as like free cult labor, which you can essentially think of like contributions people will give because they're economically incentivized to do so. So, like marketing is super, probably the most powerful form of marketing is word of mouth, social proof. And that's the kind of like network effect you get with these communities, like crazy communities where he describes again, like the Rad Bros or like the My Ladies, etc. So That's very high level of where we are today. We have this like low float, high FTV meta where retail is essentially being treated as exit liquidity. Not necessarily good for founders as well. Of course, high valuation in the beginning, but typically not vested anyway. They realize it's not beneficial. It's only good for a certain subset of people, like particular market makers, particular early investors, and it's not positive for the space. So essentially, what Legion is trying to do is re-democratize access to early stage investing. But the problem is you can't just open it up to every single person. You need to be able to distribute your token to the right people. And therefore, we believe if you add value in some particular way, you should be rewarded for it. It should be a chance to make it. So we have this reputation system called a Legion score, which we'll go through shortly, but you essentially using your Legion score to connect with these high quality projects, writing investment both at the pre-liquid token round, so you can participate side by side with venture capital and private rounds, and also for token sales.
Awesome.
I'll stop there.
Cool. So you might not want to name any projects, and I should have some quite off the top of my head, but just I've kind of escaped my memory. But I do remember seeing something that I've recently covered where, actually Celestia. So Celestia is like an example where Binance they jumped in. A lot of people have jumped in. It was still an airdrop, but I think these guys are up 200x on their early thing, and they've been getting staking rewards as well. And then the other issue I guess you have is there are other tokens such as Sui, and plenty of other tokens out there, and they are vested, but then sometimes they're allowed to stake them and then claim the staking rewards, and then they can sell them. So
yeah, it's a rot problem. I previously built and spent a lot of time in the Cosmos ecosystem, kind of like proof of stake. So you see more chains spun up there than is possible. And it's a classic thing, right? It's like proof of stake, need to secure the network. We've got a bunch of VCs with locked tokens. You guys can stake the token. Obviously, in the beginning, they want to bootstrap demand. So they have hyperinflationary tokenomics, and you ended up essentially like just people just exiting on these retail. And that's again, it's like the same chart. It's essentially it's a value extraction tool, which again is like really short-term focused value extraction as opposed to like you take a step back. It's like, are these projects trying to achieve something longer term? By no means I'm saying Celestia is not doing that. I mean, they're just going about it like a slightly different way. And by no means are they the worst perpetrators of that in the Cosmos ecosystem. They're very obvious ones that have done a bad job. But yeah, I think it's just like a lot of the stuff at the end of the day is like you want to have a successful product that creates some sort of traction that lasts multiple cycles. It's like you need to treat your community as like the lifeblood, because essentially you're building an ecosystem. It's not like a Web 2 where you build a product and you're just selling to some people. It's like, and this is what I think like Solana does fantastic, right? They've got the grassroots of the super chain. They're investing in that. They're investing in hackathons. They're trying to encourage like grassroots building, right? And they feel like really close knit, and like they spend a lot of time on this model. And it's because they recognize like, everyday people, they bring a lot of value.
Yeah, definitely. So would it be a good time now to show us, or should I sign up live, or can you show us your account or what it looks like?
I'm happy to show. Yeah, so I guess to set the scene here, we opened up our platform on Wednesday last week, so loosely a week ago. We've had, like maybe 16 or 17,000 people sign up, but around almost 12.5 thousand people with a non-zero Legion score. So I'll just kind of run you through the platform here. So this, again, I've already signed in. There's like a different onboarding. I encourage everyone to come try legion.cc/access. Come find out what your Legion score is. We got some cool stuff in here, which I'll talk through. So home, you've got a bit of a to-do list. Again, you can track different investing, what stage it is. We do things a little bit different. They sort of like, think about it as like you have you could put an application to get access to it, and based on your merit, you get access. But we'll park that for now. Wallet is fine. The predominant thing we have here is kind of like your Legion score. So this is the mechanism that I was talking about. We need some sort of like base reputation layer to understand like, we understand like projects want to connect with high value network participants. Token sales are a super effective mechanism for value alignment and distribution. Now, the next natural question is like, what actually makes a good investor for that project? So that's kind of the premise of what the Legion score is. So we tie in some quantitative information. So like if you connect your GitHub, you get a dev score. If you connect some wallets, again, Solana or EVM, you can encrypt them if you like, or you can connect them like normally. You connect your Twitter, what kind of clout, who are your top followers, and we kind of tie all that in together to kind of like generate this score here. We've got a bunch of like left curve stuff, which is kind of funny. You know, what's your like main achievements? For example, like back in October 14th, I bought Ohm after October 14th, 2021, which was the peak of the max top, and got absolutely wrecked on it. But it's kind of fun to show off, like it's a bit of the culture. I was around during the period, you know, made good decisions, bad decisions. You know, knows a safe signer, for example, or like got wrecked in Wonderland, or like Imran from Alliance DAO follows me, or Anil from Delphi, or like Andy from the Rollup, who's a legend. Again, tying all this together, like I said, some wallets you can encrypt your social cloud. You can follow your top followers, and then developer experience, kind of like where you're spending most of your time. Like I'm writing a lot of JavaScript, etc. And then we have this like value add network scores, like how you participate in these projects, what kind of feedback you get, and kind of like this continuous feedback loop that we tack onto the quantitative metric here. So we tie all this together. Again, we've got this like little Legion score you can go off and share. Hopefully you've seen them floating around Twitter. And then we also have this leaderboard. So yeah, just about to click over 12,000, 12.5K real users, again, non-zero Legion scores. And you can filter like who the top devs, who the top on-chain, top social, for example. And then, yeah, I mean, you can come through and you know, have a bit of fun, say like, okay, like this particular person, they've got some pretty funny repos. Again, on the dev side, GitHub famous, like Vectorize, super cool. Like Alex is co-founder or founder of Nansen. And yeah, you can kind of come through, see how you rank, and kind of play around. So it's like, it's a little bit of fun, but the premise here is largely for investing, connecting with the right projects. We also have this like little investor profile, which you can come and update. You know, what's your main value add? Do you passively allocate capital, or are you active contributor? Do you like to get involved in ecosystems? Kind of some of the investment stats, etc. Again, this is kind of all tied together to pull a good picture of who you might be, how you contribute value, and kind of like pairing up with other people that feel the same way. And that's kind of like trying to connect some spark on community there.
I dig it. All right, I will sign up, I guess, because all my wallets, not some of them are tutorial, some of them aren't, but I'll sign up afterwards, and then I will share mine. I have no dev. Well, I can connect my GitHub, but we're not going to see much there.
It's okay.
What about, you know, this is a very small subset, so I don't know. I don't mind if it's not really included. But what about the aspect of, you know, the content creators, or can you connect your YouTube and get a bit of a score that way, or is it just kind of your Twitter profile and how many followers and who follows you, that sort of
Yeah.
aspect?
Yeah, I am assuming you ask because you are a top tier content creator.
I'm not a top tier, but I'm working on it.
Yeah,
And I
but
think
that's a
I think it'd be a cool idea because I mean, there's so much shilling, there's so much money with the top content creators. I'm not one of them, but it'd be good if there was a way to like have a profile, and I'm not sure exactly how it would be done, but like, you know, maybe you could invest in something, but also have to have them on your podcast, or do a tutorial, or highlight the app. That would
yeah.
kind of be cool.
Yeah, I think that's super cool, right? And I can like that's kind of the premise of what we're trying to get to, where it's like people can bring more value than just passive capital. And I think that's the whole thing around crypto and Web3 and building ecosystems and people contributing. Like I said, what Murad calls like free cult labor. It's like if you bring value, you should have access to these deals. It shouldn't be about like, oh, are you already rich, or do you have a particular network of no person can get you a deal? It should be like based on merit. That's our thesis on this, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
net benefit both for the investors, but also for the projects. Now all of a sudden, like the ecosystem is a lot of like people like allocating their time and pushing it forward. Is like you're significantly more likely to have success, and you create this like positive flywheel. Answer your question short. Right now, you can't connect to YouTube again, but I'll give you my word. We've been working on it, and as soon as we can get it live, I'll let you know, and you can connect yours.
Sure. So are there any things we can look at now in terms of investing? Are there any projects kind of live, or is it just in the early beta of you just getting your Legion score at present?
At present, come get your Legion score, but I'd say this time in maybe a week or just a little bit longer, I think you'll find some cool things floating around.
Perfect. Okay, so when someone actually says, all right, do you want to invest in I'm creating a new group, let's use meme coins as an example, because Murad, Jesus over there, Murad, I can't even remember the perfect pronunciation, but Jesus, meme coin Jesus, he has a thesis, as you said, cult labor. Cult labor is it definitely, and the cult labor is very, very important, and also the fact of you can get the tokens out. You're not going to have some VC up hundreds of percent, like on like the day of listing. There's so many reasons, but one at the kind of the top of his tree, he's got like a neo religion. So anyone that can create something that becomes like a new age religion, is going to be pretty special. Anything that really culty fashion. So let's say I come along and how does someone even decide, or how do they even access you in order to actually? I want to do a launch, so I want to create a meme coin. It's probably not meme coins, is probably not the perfect example here, but I want to create a meme coin, and I want to launch with you. And then, how are the smart contracts done so that tokens are held in, I guess, a vesting sequence?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, yeah, let's take it. Maybe meme coin's not probably the best example. I think like definitely like the near religion vibe. We're all on it, right? I mean, like you see, it was like Gotius Maximus, for example, where it's like a new AI, people get around it. I think inherently humans are social beings. It's not just like you're not really only in it for just like make games and kind of exit. I mean, some people definitely behave in that manner, but like I think most of the people want to be part of something. You want to enjoy it with your friends. You want to grow. And it's like, that famous meme. It's like, it wasn't about the money. It's about the people, or like about the tech. And I think it's actually a lot of truth to that, right? It's like even going back to like DeFi summer days is like some crazy times with some people on the internet, then I ended up meeting and becoming super good friends after that. I think it's super important. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question specifically, let's say you're a project, you might be building a Solana or an EVM chain or something. Let's pick Solana for now. We facilitate pre-liquid token round, which is equivalent to a private round. So it's like you're not ready to distribute your token yet, but you do want to bootstrap your community so that they can come make an investment, much like you would in like a VC round. You can invest side by side. By no means do we believe like all VCs are bad. I think it's like all VCs bad and retail are just dumb. Definitely not. We kind of look at it as like a continuum of like value add. So some people are extractive, some people add value. Not necessarily like there's value add VCs and value add retail. There's extractive retail, extractive VCs. We're essentially trying to like create the system where we're optimizing for the value add. For projects, for example, we want to maximize value per dollar invested. That's the short way to look at it. But yeah, if you're a project, right now we're very curated on the type of projects that we'll be releasing on Legion. But come talk to me. We can speak about what you're trying to achieve. And then, yeah, I mean, if it's a good fit, then we can set up a sale and we take it from there.
Awesome. So how many projects are you kind of thinking you will be able to launch, or not launch rather, but
Help fund,
have it
help
help
fundraise.
fund, yeah, help raise.
Yeah. I guess we can probably put a limit on like within a time frame. I'd say right now, honestly, there's an immense amount of demand, to be totally frank. I think there's like maybe 90 or 100 projects in the pipeline that we're kind of reviewing. But again, we're very like, we'll start off with quality. We're ensure like it's high signal. Again, that's the whole point of like the Legion score is to try to identify the signal on the retail side and the investor side. We're doing a lot of due diligence, as mentioned before, a lot with the Delphi guys. Essentially, have to pass the equivalent of a Delphi IC, which is the Delphi Investment Committee, which is just assessing like the viability of this project, will it perform well, etc. Would Delphi invest into it? And then, yeah, we basically will be doing a handful this year. Mika comes into full effect on the 31st of December. We've been conditionally approved for the license. Very exciting. And then I think around February-ish timeframe, you'll start to see more of the like public token launch side of things and hopefully go a lot bigger. But we plan around being like here for a very long time. This is the start of the journey. We believe tokenization will eat the world. We believe that, with Mika and stuff like that is kind of revolutionary in terms of regulation. We hope to see the US start adopting that, obviously today, election day. But yeah, I think we're long on Mika, we're long on tokenization eating the world, and we plan on being around for 10, 15, 40, 100 years.
Okay, cool. So from the legal standpoint, how do things work now? Or how you may be able to add some clarity to someone, like, let's say they're worth 50 grand, but they've got a massive DGen score, and they want to go and with a smaller check of like $5,000, but traditionally that would be quite hard, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it probably comes out of two ways, right? So I think like if you look at the kind of like the decentralized launchpad kind of scene, it's super scammy, real dodgy, not really much happening, and it suffers from this like negative self-selection bias, where essentially the best projects that can raise significant amounts in private markets, right? They're considered like the tier one projects. They don't do these like public token launches because it's not compliant, right? And therefore, only the teams that can't raise in private markets end up taking on the risk, and therefore it's already optimizing for lower quality projects, which attracts lower quality investors, which attracts a negative outcome, and this kind of cycle continues. And I think that's why you don't get the best projects launching on decentralized launchpads, right? Because it makes no sense. Where now, much like in 2018, how regulation shattered the ICO landscape, MiCA is sort of a way to revive that. So it now gives a compliant way, removes the legal gray area for projects to raise, again, EU focus for now, but from non-qualified investors, it's exactly akin to what US would call accredited. So you don't need to be accredited. You don't have to have a particular net wealth, right? So you can participate at earlier stages and for the token launches. And that clarity means that now projects can like fully focus on bootstrapping, raising community from early stage without worrying about that risk, which again ensures that now the highest quality projects are able to do this. And then again, from a compliance perspective, for investors, they now have access to this in a compliant way. A few things baked in, like if they need a refund, there's a 14-day refund period. Again, it's all around correct disclosure.
All right. So this will be coming out for Europe, and then anyone in the US at present, what's the go with them?
So here's the sad news. If you are non-accredited and you're from the US, unfortunately, as it stands today, a certain Gary Gensler has a very strong policy. You will not be able to participate. However, we're, as mentioned before, very long on the idea of MiCA. It's the first like multiple country regulation. So all EU member states have adopted it. It's very comprehensive. I mean, our thesis is that the US, again, now there's a new president. We should see some change, and we expect something like MiCA or some approach to MiCA should come ideally in effect, and then that opens up and democratizes access to everyone. That would be the end goal for us.
Perfect. Hopefully. Otherwise, until that happens, I don't know, maybe you can go live in Europe for a little bit if required.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not bad
all
over
right.
here, hey?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. We're both. Can I say where you are?
Yeah, of
Or
course. Yeah, no stress.
we're like randomly like 35 minutes from each other. You're at a hacker house in Portugal, and I live here. Cool. I'll ask the audience if there's any questions that people have on this. But until, I'm not sure if we're going to have anything specific here. Until let's see if any come through. Otherwise, I'm going to pull it up on my screen over here. Even though like if you are in the US and you're not accredited, should you still go and make your DGen score just to be a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't hurt, to be honest. You're not going to see any of the investments, unfortunately. But you can generate a Legion score. And I think it's always worthwhile given, if regulation does end up shifting and now we have a new party coming into effect, maybe that turns around a lot quicker. But yeah, I think come get involved. At least like it's a bit of fun. Find out your Legion score, find out how you rank, compare it with your friends. A lot of fun with that.
Right. And what are the requirements to be accredited in the US? Do you happen to know off the top of your head? Because maybe someone strikes it rich on the next meme coin and
Yeah,
there
I
pretty
think
quickly.
over net wealth, I mean, there's a few different things. I think one, if you work in a particular industry like finance or a particular type of law, you can be considered accredited. There's no hard and fast rule, by the way. There's typically this like self-certification. If you have X amount over in net wealth or you earn something over like 200K a year USD, they're kind of things that America considers you're accredited, right? But yeah, I mean, if you don't know if you're accredited or not, to be honest, you're probably not. But
Yeah.
you can check it out online if you go big on a meme coin and say engage a tax lawyer and find out.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we're not getting any questions. We're a little bit low on the number of views. I think at the moment the elections are taking a lot of people's attention. But I will do a little bit of a walkthrough video on my own time, and I'll share what my DGN score is. I'm gonna in order to get anywhere near the the bigger dogs, I'm gonna have to connect a whole lot of wallets.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely. I think, yeah, have a bit of fun, no stress. I mean, it is election day, and some, I think, positive crypto news, and also the market's moving. Bitcoin, new all-time high. Here's a question for you: Giga or SPX? Where's the capital at?
Yeah, well, I think SPX. I mean, it's harder to get because you have to go to EVMs, and it's far more expensive, and my audience is primarily Solana. However, it's what Murad pushes all the time. Do you hold any of these tokens?
Of course, everything's non-financial advice, but I do hold some of the tokens we may have spoken about.
Yeah. So if people don't know about this thesis, there's Giga, which is on Solana. This is from Murad, sorry, SPX 6900, and there's Popcat also on Solana. SPX 6900 is on Ethereum. What's the big one? Let's see if I can see it on Must Stop Murad's Twitter. But he's also got with Pepe, Apu. There's a few out there, but whenever I see him kind of replying to things, like he replied to Raoul Pol recently, and just like, by the way, you should look into SPX 6900. This will do well for you along those lines. I think SPX 6900 but why? Why this one?
Have you been on the website?
Um,
It's classy.
I thought it was just quite like kind of had that autistic kind of feel to it, right?
Yeah,
Let's have a
definitely.
look.
You should jump on the screen share and we can check it out. Get a good thing.
It looks as though they're under maintenance.
Ah, damn killer. It's actually
So,
it's a pretty solid site. It's like kind of takes you back to Y2K days, and then like edited a bunch of like these fake news articles. Um,
so firstly, SPX 6900. Unfortunately, there are a lot of different knockoffs. So much for the blue check mark working wonders. But my assumption is this one, but we can always double check at CoinGecko. And yeah, I'm like, meme coins are cool, but still trying to learn. I mean, this is really disappointing because I was like thinking about buying here, then I was thinking about buying here, but just getting across the ETH, it's a little bit harder. We've been waiting for this pullback, and it just keeps on going higher and higher. You turn $200,000 into $1 million, into $100 million. Come here, check out the Twitter. This is the right one. I should be following it, and unfortunately, yeah, this is so okay.
wait,
So
watch it.
this is what you like the most, yeah?
I think it's quite funny, right? It's a bit of culture. It's something people can bond about. It's something a bit different, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the actual website, when it's up and running, and when it's not under maintenance, it's pretty funny. You should definitely check it out once they come back to it.
There's also Giga. Let's have a look at their website. Yeah, I need to do a lot more understanding to work out what his system is. But I'm pleased that you and him are aligned because he is meme coin Jesus, and if you are investing Jesus, we're in the right place.
I have to grow the beard and maybe the hair a little bit longer.
Yeah. But ideally make people gains and not have VCs dump on them, and I guess you're going to get there too.
Yeah,
Perfect.
working on it. All right,
Oh,
Seb,
all right.
absolute legend. It's been a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. And yeah, looking forward to speaking again in the future.
Yeah, sure. I'll quickly just share my screen one more time. For anybody that wants to follow you, your link will be below at the end of this. And then legion.cc here. And of course, legion.cc, go here and sign up. Sign up, get your DGen score, and compare it to mine. I'll release mine tomorrow. See how many wallets I can connect. Cool. All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Catch you soon.